Well, here goes my most controversial take. Let's get started. Hey, it's Jordan again. Let's talk about AI. There's been a lot of debate about AI art, we'll call it, recently, especially with the Wacom tablet snafu that happened. I don't know if y'all saw that, but they decided to use some AI-generated assets for their social media post. Had people in an uproar about it. I found out about a month ago that Steam does not allow AI games on their platform for some copyright reasons, which sound totally legitimate to me. But recently, as of 2 days ago, 2 or 3 days ago, I'm not sure exactly when, they decided to change their approach to it a little bit and put the onus back on the developer. And if the developer cannot verify the copyright of the images, that's a problem for the developer, not for Steam. And Steam will remove the game, but it is kind of on the developer, which makes sense to me from like a legal 230 standpoint. Doesn't talk about the morality of the situation, but gotta start somewhere. So let's talk about a little bit about the morality. My personal opinion is that AI is not immoral to use. I think it's a very effective tool. I come from a programmer background, so there's that meme. There's the meme right here. And I'm definitely a kind of guy that's like where I understand that I stand on the shoulders of gigantic programmers that came before me, from the open source software that I use with Godot to all the way back to ray tracing and all the tech that Carmack and id Software did. It is incredible how far that we've come that I had no part in and I'm using. So I don't see AI as necessarily immoral to use. But I can see the problem with copyrighted images. If you go to Midjourney and try and generate like video game plumber, you're going to get a picture of Mario. And it is a copyrighted image. Like, that's a problem. There's also the question about like the whole companies, ArtStation, I believe, did this, but selling your art to AI companies to train on. Definitely a problem, but this has been happening since 2004, I think. Well, probably earlier than that. I just remember early on when Gmail first came out, and the mantra of the internet back then was, if it's free, you're the product. And I think that people have forgotten that with the age of social media and are just starting now to realize that again. Like I said, I personally view AI as a way to accomplish things faster, especially prototypes. I want to develop my game quickly, as quickly as possible, so I can get playtesters and see if it's fun. And so I've been using AI-generated art in Oracle of Malaise. Oh no. People are going to get so mad about that, and I don't think it's a problem. I'm not trying to sell people on the AI art. View it similar using free assets. I'm not planning on selling it with AI art, but I do want to provide a visual aspect to my game so that my players don't have to see noise textures, unique noise textures every time. It adds a little bit of something to the game, and I think that's a good thing. I think it would be wise for artists to start using AI, just like programmers are starting to use Copilot and I think a couple other AI algorithm generators out there. I think it's a good thing. I have no problem if an artist comes along and says, you know what, I don't know how to program, but I'm going to try and use AI to create a game and create the inner workings of the code in the game while I draw pretty pictures, while I make algorithms and try and get the AI to draw some pictures that mean something in the meantime. I really don't see a problem with that. And I think that the more that people train AI on local data, like say a studio, let's say a studio who has generated thousands of assets by paying their artists for the asset, can start training on that asset. I'm sorry, I think that's going to be a good thing. I can see a huge amount of benefit coming from that. Now, I would also want to employ artists to fix AI and to make it better and to make it actually more human. And let's talk about what I mean by human. So I come from a Christian background, as if you've watched any of my videos, you probably know. And I've noticed that there's let's in the Bible, the creation of man is done in 3 parts, or the creation of the world and the universe is done in 3 parts. The first thing that happens is God creates something. And honestly, right now, AI does create something. Now, some people will claim that AI is just like redrawing someone else's work, which is odd because a lot of artists just redraw someone else's work. I think art is different from creative enterprises. But AI is creating art already, or creating pictures. Let's just say that, creating pictures. But the second thing that God does, and this is one thing that separates, and man being made in the image of God, we should be reflecting that. And the one thing that separates is that God names the thing that he has created. So we have a creation of a thing, then a naming of a thing. Now that would be very difficult for an AI to do, because naming is a kind of a staking claim over something. And the last thing that God does that AI will never be able to do is that God calls it good, and he appreciates art. And that's something that man can do, humans can do, AI cannot. AI can critique it and probably sound a lot like a Roger Ebert or some, that critic from Ratatouille, but there's no legitimacy to that. A human can understand whether or not something is objectively good because we're made in the image of God, and we know this separation. This is good and this is bad. So to talk a little bit, let's go back to LuxCor, and let's talk about how I would like to do things. I don't think that AI, I'll put it this way. Art has some little bit of the artist in it. AI does not put any of it has no soul. It cannot put any of its soul into its art, into its pictures. And so there's something about when a human creates a photograph, a game, piece of music, or a picture, or a game dev asset, or whatever it is, there's something about it. There's something about it that is soulful. It has a little bit of blood, sweat, and tears in it. Even just a little bit. AI cannot do that. What LuxCor would like to do, what I would like to do, is I would like to never have AI art in my games, because I don't think it's good enough. And I don't think it will ever be good enough, because I don't think that the soul behind the AI is there. So while I don't think it's immoral to use AI, and with the exception of stealing things, and I don't think it's illegal to use AI, and I applaud Valve's efforts with it, my plan is I don't want to use it. I want to work with an artist who can create something with me, working collaboratively, create something that will enhance the gameplay. Because what games are an art form. And the medium of that art form is the fun. And the art, the pictures, the sprites, the 3D assets, the models, the UV mapping, and all that needs to work together to make the game more fun, because that is the medium of the art. I want to work with an artist who will work with me on that. AI cannot do that. So, yeah, if you're interested, if you want to work with me as an artist, if this kind of speaks to you a little bit and you understand my point of view, please feel free to reach out at jordanl@luxcorstudios.com. That's JORDANL@luxcorstudios.com. I know this is probably the most controversial take so far that LuxCor has. Don't worry, there will be more. I have opinions. I research my opinions. I think about my opinions a lot. I think that artists would be generally better off trying to use AI to enhance their product, to enhance their art, than they would be to try and prevent everyone from using it. Thank you guys. I'll see you in a couple weeks for the playtest.